Good afternoon. Crews are combing through the charred remains of a Brampton home, searching for 3 people still missing after a deadly fire yesterday morning.
2 people were killed, 4 others remain in hospital following the blaze. CTV's Janice Golding has been following the search and joins us live with more details. Janice.
This morning at a home here in northwest Brampton, the scene of a deadly house fire. Now, fire crews unable to make entry yesterday due to structural concerns, but 3 of the home's residents are still unaccounted for. The 2-alarm blaze in the McLaughlin and Remembrance Roads area of Brampton broke out around 2:15 a.m. Thursday morning. When firefighters arrived, they would locate 2 people who died in the blaze, one just inside the home, another just outside. Another 4 people who were told jumped from a second-floor window would be rushed to hospital, including a 5-year-old boy. All of those injured or killed members of the same family. Meanwhile, 2 people who were uninjured we are told were renting the basement. Brampton's mayor told reporters yesterday the home was owned by an absentee landlord who had applied to create a second unit in the basement in 2019. The head of Brampton's bylaw enforcement said there had been a series of orders to comply that had been issued by the building department, which had been continually ignored over the course of 6 years. Here's more from area residents this morning.
Yeah, that's innocent. The 2 grandmas walk all the time here because the 3 children all the time take her and walk away and playing in the park. It's a very innocent people.
Our neighborhood's definitely shaken and heartbroken by this. My thoughts are pretty close with the family members that are affected, and yeah, it's crazy.
Everybody in the community is sad because this is, look, it's right in front of the school. I've been living here for 9.5 years.
Now, we were originally told that the victims who were taken to hospital were in critical condition. However, we are now told that they are in serious but stable condition. Meanwhile, area residents tell us one of the people who is still missing is a 2-year-old. Reporting live from Janice Golding. Now back to Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. And there was another fire in Brampton this morning. Emergency crews were called to the Queen and Hanson Road area around 5 a.m. for reports of flames. The fire has since been put out. The cause is still under investigation and no injuries were reported.
A woman was taken to hospital following a shooting downtown last night. Police were called to the area of Queen and Mutual Street around 10 p.m. for reports of gunfire. They found a woman in her 30s suffering from a gunshot wound. She was taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the suspect may have left the scene in a vehicle. He is described as standing around 5'6" with a skinny build. He was last seen wearing a white shirt, gray hooded sweatshirt, black pants, and black shoes. And police are searching for the rider of a dirt bike who allegedly threatened to shoot another driver during a road rage incident in North York. This happened back on August 12th in the area of Jane and Finch. Police say the suspect reportedly broke the victim's side mirror before threatening to shoot them. When police arrived, they followed the suspect for a short time, but he was able to get away. Investigators are asking anyone who might have information to come forward.
Durham police are at Maxwell Heights Secondary School in Oshawa today after 2 teens were stabbed near the school. Now, the incident happened yesterday near Harmony Road and Coldstream Drive. 2 students aged 14 and 16 were on their lunch break yesterday when they were stabbed. Both were taken to hospital with serious but non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators are searching for 2 teenage boys in connection with the stabbing. They have not provided suspect descriptions.
York Regional Police kicked off their annual festive season ride campaign.
In York Region, we've laid almost 1,200 impaired operation charges in 2025. I want to say that again. Just this year, 1,200 impaired operation charges. And while that represents a marginal decrease from 2024, even one impaired driver is one too many. And that's why we step up our efforts every festive season.
The initiative will see officers out conducting spot checks over the holidays. Police are urging people not to get behind the wheel after consuming drugs or alcohol and reminding the public to always have a plan to get home safely.
Still to come, Prime Minister Mark Carney's wrapped up a visit to the United Arab Emirates. He's now headed to South Africa to take part in the G20 summit. We'll have more on the trip a little later in the newscast.
Federal Transport Minister Steven MacKinnon made an announcement in Brampton this morning promoting 2 initiatives aimed at boosting trade.
And investments from the Trade Diversification Corridors Fund and the Arctic Infrastructure Fund will increase the capacity of our trade and transportation infrastructure, strengthen Canada's sovereignty and presence in the Arctic, and improve Canada's ability to move imports and exports across this country and to and from the rest of the world.
The 2 initiatives under the oversight of Transport Canada are the $5 billion Trade Diversification Corridors Fund, as well as the $1 billion Arctic Infrastructure Fund. MacKinnon says these funds will invest in infrastructure projects, strengthen trade corridors, and promote Canada's Arctic sovereignty.
A note for commuters, a portion of the TTC's Line 1 will be closed tomorrow. There will be no service between St. George and St. Andrew stations because of planned track work. Museum, Queen's Park, St. Patrick, and Osgoode stations will all be closed. The TTC says shuttle buses will not be operating. Regular subway service is set to resume on the subway in time for the Santa Claus parade. And a few GO train schedule changes are taking effect over the next few days. As of tomorrow, weekend service on the Lakeshore West and Lakeshore East lines will run once every 30 minutes. Metrolinx is emphasizing this is a temporary change and it'll monitor ridership and service demand. Then, as of Sunday, weekend service on the Kitchener line will increase and extend to Kitchener GO Station. Full details are on the GO's website.
The Toronto Zoo showed off a new addition, but it was not an animal.
A car from the former Scarborough SRT has a new home at the zoo. CTV's Allison got a preview for us this morning and joins us live with more. Allison.
Yeah, Nathan, so a car that used to be with the Scarborough RT, one of those vehicles, is now going to be here and is going to be used as a stop for the Zoo-mobile. This is one of the 28 cars that was once part of the decommissioned transit line. It's located in the Tundra Trek area, which has polar bears and Arctic wolves, and will serve, as I mentioned, as a stop for the Zoo-mobile. So people will be able to sit inside and wait. The aging Scarborough RT had a design life of 25 years, but had been in service for 38 years and was decommissioned after it derailed in the summer of 2023. 24 of the cars were sold to the city of Detroit. 2 cars were donated to Halton Region Museum. 1 was severely damaged in the derailment. That one was scrapped. And this one has been donated to the Toronto Zoo.
We believe this SRT being here serves a bigger idea. And we hope it's one of those pieces that brings back memories today, but will be here 25 years from now to help us reminisce at a different time. And really can be a point where we recognize where progress started, not where it ended.
This is such a great partnership between the TTC, the zoo, and the City of Toronto in keeping this part of our history alive for our kids. So those are our grandkids who don't get to experience that, shall we say, that interesting and unique ride on when it's 9 a.m. and it's cold and you're running late and when you're going through the snow. But, you know, just having them and being able to bring them here and experience this, I think is so important for our history. It's part of our identity, and it's part of our rich cultural heritage that makes our part of the city unique.
So zoo officials say that the car will be open sometime early in December, and that's when visitors will have a chance to sit inside and wait and tour a little piece of that history. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Nathan, back to you.
Thank you, Allison. We have more news in a moment, but first a look at the forecast. There's a live shot of the city. Mainly cloudy, mild. You might not need the heavy coat today, depending on how long you might be outside. And we could hit double digits. Lindsay Morrison joins us now with a look at the current conditions. Not a bad looking Friday, Lindsay.
It is nice and mild to finish off the week. Nathan, you may have seen in that live shot too, a little bit of shaking going on. The winds picking up today, and depending on which part of the GTA you're joining us from, you may be seeing some light showers outside your window. We've got this line moving through right now. It's going to move on by, but we'll hold on to the opportunity for wet weather really throughout at least the early part of the afternoon, with conditions tapering off into the evening. evening. There's those winds that I was talking about. They're coming out of the west right now, a little gusty, especially around Hamilton and Niagara Falls. It is 10 degrees in Hamilton, 11 in Niagara Falls. We're not doing too bad either. It's 8 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport, and we are on our way to a forecast daytime high of 10. In fact, many communities have already reached their forecast daytime high. What's in store for the weekend? We'll take you through the forecast details coming up. For now, Michelle, over to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, several people have been hospitalized following a grizzly bear attack in the remote British Columbia community of Bella Coola. CTV's Scott Hurst has been following this story, and he joins us now with more. This is frightening. Scott, what can you tell us about what happened?
Good afternoon, Michelle. This is still a developing story as details are still coming into our newsroom, but no doubt we can say it is a terrifying attack for those in this small BC community of Bella Coola. A grizzly bear attack impacting a total of 11 people, including young school children. Here are some photos of the school in question from the community. 2 patients were taken to hospital in critical condition, 2 in serious condition as well. This incident taking place Thursday afternoon, and another 7 people were cared for at the scene. The extent of their injuries unconfirmed at this time, but did not need to be taken to hospital. According to RCMP, the bear allegedly charged a group of elementary school kids. Teachers tried their best, they say, to fend off the attack. A spokesperson for the local school district tells CTV News the attack involved an independent school run by the Newhalk First Nation, Michelle.
Oh, now one can only imagine what that experience was like for everyone. What is happening with students and staff today?
Today, in the wake of this terrifying incident, the school is closed. Students and staff are being urged to stay home, and people in the community are being urged to stay home because the bear has not been tracked down, according to the latest update that we've seen from the BC Conservation Officer Service since this attack happened. So the school is closed today, and in a statement says it's hard to know what to say during this difficult time. We are so grateful for our team and our students, and the school and the district are doing their best right now to provide counseling opportunities, saying they will be made available. But in terms of the community itself, residents are being urged to stay inside, and also buses are being made available for those in the community that need to get around. But in abundance of caution, according to the Newhalk Emergency Management, rides are being made available as residents, including students, faculty, teachers, well, they're home today because the school is closed, but those in the community are being urged to use extreme caution. And as I mentioned, rides being made available for those who need it in the community, Michelle.
CTV's Scott Hurst, live in the National Newsroom. Thanks for the update.
Thanks, Michelle.
Meanwhile, here at home, emergency officials are providing an update on that deadly fire in Brampton yesterday. Let's hear what they had to say.
The status of the people from yesterday.
Good afternoon, Tyler Bell with Peel Police. In terms of a police update, we're going to remain on scene to support the Ontario Fire Marshal in their investigation. There's no update to provide as far as whether there's any suspicion at this point. In terms of the status of the victims, so of the 4 that were taken to hospital, we have an adult male whose condition since changed back to critical. This is not uncommon with fire-related injuries. And 3 that are stable. The young child, 5 years old, is doing well. That is all I have for a medical update at this point. Okay, if there's questions for the police, I'll try to answer, but this is really all I have.
Okay, so 3 people are still missing. There's no one has been able to contact the people. These are counted on.
Correct. So our concern is that there are 3 people outstanding who are inside the residence at this point.
Do you have ages who
Nothing that I can solidify and give you with the confidence, because we're relying on neighbors, people that know the family to give us information. The individuals at hospital are still not able to talk and give us those details, so I don't want to say anything in fear that it might not be accurate.
We're hearing word of familial ties of some of the living in the residence at the time. The 3 are unaccounted for. Can you say if they're related in any way, whether in-laws or
Well, what we've been able to ascertain is that we think there were 2 individuals that were in a basement unit of the residence, and the 9, what we think is 9 individuals, are part of a multi-generational family. So they're all related in some capacity. To what extent, I don't know yet. Not yet. That'll be a post-mortem. The condition, unfortunately, was so that we couldn't immediately identify. I mean, I can turn that back over to the fire marshal. That's just outside our expertise.
Thank you for the question. The speed of the demolition is never it's not how fast we can bring it down. It is how slowly, methodically, and carefully we can bring it down to ensure that we don't disrupt anything that is critical to the investigation. So to provide a timeline on how long it will take is not available. Of course, as you can see, there's people in an elevated platform who are reviewing at all times areas before they are removed by the demolition, by the hook of the machine. So every area is checked prior to it being removed and brought down. And then as the debris is brought down, it is checked for other critical items that we can find that would be important to the investigation.
Do you have any indications as to where the
We don't have that information at this time, which is why it's taking that slow, methodical process to ensure that the areas are checked prior to anything being removed, and then are checked again once it's made safe for the investigator to be in that space.
Now that you're having a better look inside the house, I don't expect you to have all the answers yet, but is there any indication as to where the fire may have started?
Not at this time. Thank you. That is correct. We have not found any decedents at this point. So the crane itself is holding the screen to protect the structure beside the home that we are currently working to bring down in that methodical manner. The hi-ho with the thumb hook on it is being used to remove the debris piece by piece, and then the people in the elevated bucket are being the eyes for the operator. Also, they'll come down, the fire investigators will go up, clear the area for their requirements, and then the demolition crew will start to remove the pieces, piece by piece, in order to be as respectful to both the structures around it and to the requirements of the fine detail of things we're looking for. That's one of the pieces that is part of the investigation. So as they go through the debris field, they're looking for fire, smoke alarms, anything in that manner. So it's part and parcel. So at this point, I think it's between 6 and 16 that are currently out of their home while this equipment is going on. It will be after the structure is made safe that people will be allowed back into the ones that are habitable.
Well, certainly that's concerning for us. As you see, the outcome of this particular incident is rather tragic. So obviously we're going to review all of the documents that we have related to any other registered licenses for any other residents, and we'll continue to work towards ensuring compliance. That, I really can't speak to that, to be really honest. I'm not sure what the outcome of that will be. Well, obviously it's concerning for us. You know, this is a tragic fire and it affects everybody, so we're going to continue to do whatever we can to prevent this. Thank you, everyone.
A heartbreaking and difficult task is underway in Brampton at the scene of a house fire that has claimed 2 lives that have been confirmed at this point. They are digging through the home and what remains there in search of 3 people who are outstanding. Peel Police saying inside the residence at this point. As well, a number of people are in hospital, 4 of them, an adult male in critical condition now. The 3 others are stable, which does include a 5-year-old. But in terms of what caused this fire and is there any suspicion at all, Peel Police have no update on that front. We'll continue to follow this developing story.
To other news, food prices are the biggest concern for Canadians dealing with inflation.
CTV's Adrian Golding has more on the challenges facing shoppers in the grocery aisles.
If the cost at the grocery store has left you with a bad taste in your mouth, you're not alone.
Before, maybe I spend like $50 to $80 a weekly, but now it's like $150, $200.
You're getting used to the high prices.
Yeah. Fact of life, I guess.
Food price experts say those looking for a deal in the aisles are quickly learning that at the moment, there's really no safe place inside a Canadian grocery store. This month's inflation report found that food prices in October rose by 3.4%, down from a 4% spike in September. So as of right now, any incremental decrease in food inflation on a month-to-month basis isn't being felt by Canadians.
Because the challenge that we have with food inflation right now is that it remains way above general inflation.
Leading the way when it comes to the priciest pickings at your local grocer, the meat counter.
2 chicken breasts, it used to be like $7, now it's like $15, $20 for 2 little chicken breasts, right?
All chicken prices are up 23% year to year. Ground beef is up almost 22% as well. Proteins in general is almost 40% of all the money you spend at the grocery store.
With the federal government dropping counter tariffs against the U.S., there is a hope that the rate of food price inflation will continue to decrease and finally be passed down to consumers as stores slash prices to keep loyal customers coming back for a second helping.
Prices here at the grocery store remain elevated and have exceeded overall inflation for 9 consecutive months. Adrian Golding, CTV News, Toronto.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is on his way to the G20 summit in South Africa after wrapping up a 2-day visit to the United Arab Emirates.
The President, His Royal Highness and I agreed to launch our Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, the opportunity to take our partnership to a new level, and we will deliver on that in the next year.
Carney says his government is working on a $1 billion project to expand Canada's processing capacity of critical minerals. He also says Canada has secured the equivalent of $70 billion worth of investments from the UAE. The funding is part of a bilateral investment framework agreement, but details on the timeline has not been released.
A 3-day international conference is underway in Atlantic Canada, bringing together defense leaders to discuss global security. The 17th annual Halifax International Security Forum is being hosted by Canada's Defense Minister, David McGuinty. The focus of this year's conference is democracy, with on-the-record sessions dedicated to the topic.
U.S. President Donald Trump is being criticized for suggesting the death penalty for a number of Democrats in Congress who released a video urging U.S. service members to refuse what they called unlawful orders. In a post on Truth Social, Trump called the video seditious behavior punishable by death. He also shared another post which read, "Hang them, George Washington would." Colorado Democrat Jason Crow responded to the president's threat.
I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm not going to be threatened. I took an oath to the Constitution. I've seen friends and people that I've served with give everything to uphold that oath. That is an oath that will last my entire life, and I intend to keep it. And I'm just not going to allow him to silence dissent and opposition.
Meanwhile, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt rejected suggestions that Trump was calling for the execution of members of Congress.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's ready to work with the U.S. on their peace plan with Russia, which includes land concessions.
It calls for the territory that has been taken by Russia to be recognized as Russian territory. And it even calls for the Ukrainians to withdraw from a certain portion of Donetsk. And that portion that they withdraw from would be recognized as Russian territory as well. It calls for the reduction in the Ukrainian military, no access to NATO, and they have to enshrine that in their constitution, and no foreign troops on their soil. What this does is it opens up Ukraine for further aggression from Russia.
As part of the plan, you heard there, Ukraine would give up significant areas in the eastern Donetsk region while cutting the size of its army and pledging not to join NATO. The White House has pushed back on claims that Ukraine was not involved in the creation of the plan after European countries pushed back on the proposal yesterday. Meanwhile, Russia is keeping up its nightly deadly attacks on Ukraine. Officials in the southern city of Zaporizhzhia say 5 people were killed when a Russian glide bomb slammed into a residential district. At least 10 others were hurt. It was one of several assaults on civilian areas of Ukraine. A drone assault also struck Odessa, injuring 5, including a 16-year-old boy.
As temperatures plummet in much of Europe, heavy snowfall in Sweden left motorists stranded on a highway overnight. Authorities in the country's southernmost province shut down highways as the snow made it impossible for vehicles to move or for rescuers to get in. Swedish television spoke with one stranded couple who said they were stuck in a pileup involving cars and trucks, but they weren't injured, just very bored while sitting in their car. Officials say conditions improved by late Thursday, meaning they were able to continue recovery and cleanup efforts.
A Nova Scotia company says it has completed its second suborbital rocket launch demonstration. Maritime Launch Services says the launch took place just after 11 a.m. yesterday from Spaceport, Nova Scotia, located in the community of Little Dover. In July of 2023, the company launched a small amateur rocket built by students at York University. The test launches are part of the company's plans to develop a launch complex capable of sending commercial satellites into orbit. Lindsay.
Well, it is a decent-looking weekend forecast. We should enjoy a fair amount of sunshine. Yes, there will be some cloud in the mix and, well, a chance of showers at times. Here's a look. 5 degrees for your Saturday. Temperature still comfortable Sunday at about 7. But we do have a chance of early morning showers or even midday showers on Saturday. But you know what? Santa travels in all kinds of weather conditions, and he'll be making a few stops at various communities around southern Ontario this weekend for Santa Claus parades, including the big one in Toronto. We'll take you through the forecast for the long range into next week, show you when it could be cool enough for flurries again. That's after this.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery early bird deadline is midnight tonight. I'm Nicole Cervinas, and well, the $3 million prize package could be yours, and that includes this gorgeous Muskoka lakefront cottage and $50,000. Here to tell us more is the VP of Lottery from Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation, Ramona Oz.
Nicole, this is absolutely fabulous. As you've described, on Lake Vernon, part of a 4-lake chain, 4-season cottage. So you're not just here in the summer, here through the holidays and all year round. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, over 2,700 square feet, open concept. Like, I could go on and on and on. And I could actually picture myself living here for sure.
Ditto. It's an absolute dream. Also a dream is the opportunity to win so many other prizes. I believe there's over 13,000.
That's right. So we are a massive lottery program, lots of chances to win, including our $7 million grand prize, which includes an Oakville show home and $500,000 cash.
Wow.
And of course, cars and vacations. And when you're buying your home lottery ticket, don't forget to add on a 50-50. We all love cash.
We love cash. What's the jackpot at, Ramona?
It is now over $5.2 million. Last program, it was over $6 million. And so that's one add-on. Or you can add on a cash calendar, grand prize $250,000, or add on our Wanderlust, where you can win incredible, life-changing prizes, or take $70,000 cash.
Casual, right?
Yes.
But all of this really does fund incredible research at the Princess Margaret.
That's right. Funds from the home lottery really fuel cancer research and programs like our early detection program, innovative therapies, and so much more.
I love the work that you guys do, so thank you so much. And everyone, you need to get a ticket because we're 80% sold.
Nicole, over 80% 90% sold.
Okay.
Avoid disappointment.
Avoid disappointment. Get your tickets. Help us carry the fire and get your tickets at princessmargaretlotto.com. Good luck.
We've had a good stretch of sun this week. Today, it's Friday, but a little on the cloudy side, maybe unsettled. But hey, we're talking about a little mild temperatures.
Yeah, like this is the first time in a while I'm not wearing the big bulky coat, a bit of a lighter jacket. It feels different.
Yeah, my kids are now into the routine of the snow pants and the warm gloves. So yeah, I think maybe a couple people were sweating this morning as we were on our way to school.
It's hard to pull back when you've got into that routine.
Yeah, we've committed. So yeah, we're just moving forward at this point. But yeah, it's nice and comfortable today. Maybe if you're hoping to venture out at all for a lunch break this afternoon, you'll enjoy double-digit temperatures in many parts of southern Ontario. It is breezy out there today. That's a bit of a trade-off. And then the weekend cools down slightly for tomorrow, but we're going to be decently mild through a few days next week. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm, injury lawyers. You don't pay unless they win. We have had a few showers move through the GTA, even just in the last little bit here, but you might start to see the sun creeping back out between the clouds over the next little bit here. Decent looking afternoon ahead. And again, the mild temperatures, I think, the highlight for so many as we wrap up another work and school week. Here's what it looks like on satellite and radar. We do see the showers now moving over Lake Ontario. Might still be a couple of remnant drops of rainfall, especially back toward the closer you get to the shoreline of Lake Huron, for example. And then there's been some light snow in northern parts of Ontario, too. This disturbance, for the most part, skirts south of Ontario, so not a big weather maker for us. High pressure is the name of the game for the weekend, although it won't be a perfect blue sky. We are going to have some cloud cover. There's midday tomorrow, mix of sun and cloud for your Saturday. At times, more cloud than sun, especially as the afternoon progresses. Here's early Sunday, pre-dawn and then also closer to noon. We could see a couple of spotty showers in some areas. And I know Sunday's a big day. A couple of Santa Claus parades taking place, including the original one in Toronto. I think the weather's going to be okay, though. Get out, enjoy the parade, line the streets. And then Monday, yeah, some varying amounts of cloud and sun once again. Still going to be seasonal or slightly above. Winds today out of the west, they are going to be quite gusty, but they really do ease as we make our way into the day tomorrow. So less of a story overall for your weekend. We're at 8 degrees this hour at Pearson Airport. A little bit warmer today in Muskoka at 6 and 4 in Ottawa. That's a nice improvement. You might find it's mildest right now in places like Windsor as well as Niagara Falls. Today's highs, yeah, above seasonal. 6 is the average temperature this time of year in Toronto specifically. Evening is looking to reflect temperatures close to what we usually experience for a daytime high. Overnight tonight, -1 for the low. There's tomorrow, 5 degrees. And I'm just going to quickly get here to your 7-day forecast if we can, because I do want to show you the cool down that does come as we make our way through to about Thursday of next week, returning to the chance of a few flurries. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
All right. Thank you, Lindsay. The Raptors will be going for a 6th straight win when they take on the Washington Wizards tonight.
They've won 4 straight sets. Quick, the 3. Rack it up. I'll take it.
The team's coming off a 121-112 win over the Philadelphia 76ers Wednesday. The Raps are in 2nd place in the Eastern Conference. Tip-off for tonight's game against Washington is set for just after 7:30 at Scotiabank Arena.
The Toronto Scepters are set to begin their regular season tonight. The team went undefeated in their 2 preseason games against Ottawa. The Scepters play their first regular season game away from home, facing off against the Minnesota Frost. Puck drop is set for just after 7 p.m. in St. Paul.
The Maple Leafs were looking for a 2nd straight win when they faced off with the Columbus Blue Jackets last night.
Lead pass for Fantilli. Gets it behind Domi. Fantilli scores. Adam Fantilli, the overtime winner for Columbus.
After rallying to send the game to overtime, the Leafs were unable to hold off the Blue Jackets in the extra period. They ended up losing the game 3-2. The team will be back on the ice tomorrow to face off with the Montreal Canadiens.
Still to come, the International Red Cross says it's cutting thousands of jobs. We'll have more on the impact of an international aid funding crisis when we return.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The International Committee of the Red Cross is cutting thousands of jobs, citing a drop in donations. The Red Cross says its 2026 budget is roughly $2.2 billion US. That's down 17% compared to this year. The drop means the organization will need to cut about 2,900 jobs. The announcement comes amid a dramatic international aid funding crisis. Since U.S. President Donald Trump returned to the White House, America has slashed foreign aid spending. The Red Cross says amid mounting geopolitical tension, other major donor countries have been more focused on defense spending.
Breast Cancer Canada has released its 2025 annual progress report. The report highlights advances in treatment, screening, and policy, while also identifying gaps in access to care across the country. The organization says 7 new breast cancer therapies were approved in the past year, but getting from the approval phase to access still takes over a year on average. Breast Cancer Canada also says the current federal recommendation to begin screening at age 50 for average risk women should be lowered to 40 nationwide, as Ontario and some other provinces have done.
And we're still looking at Quebec and Alberta a little bit behind everyone else. But, you know, it's great to know and it's great to see that we've made progress on that. If women are not feeling 100%, they know their body's best, you know, so present. Make sure you go to, you know, your primary caregiver if you have one, and if not, certainly you can self-refer in most of the provinces to get that mammogram done.
In the past year, but getting from the approval phase to access still takes over a year on average.
Still to come, Canadians are expected to take full advantage of Black Friday deals this year. We'll have the details when we come back.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
The trade war with the U.S. has left many businesses struggling, but a Toronto-based company continues to thrive.
Sukoshi has made a big impact across Canada and is now looking to go global. CTV's Judy Trin explains.
They waited hours to see K-pop star, former GOT7 band member Mark Twan, now a soloist, up close.
I'm a fan of GOT7 and I flew from Edmonton this morning.
They are fans of the music and the moves.
I've cut choreography. They're all very synchronized.
A cultural moment created at Sukoshi, a Canadian retailer headquartered in Toronto. K-pop fans have become loyal customers. 70% of the beauty products on the store's shelves are from South Korea.
I was definitely more interested in it when K-pop started like booming as well, right? Like BTS or Blackpink, they started getting really popular. So everyone was like, oh, these people are so beautiful.
Sukoshi has 16 stores across Canada, but the CEO has bigger ambitions.
One of the things as Canadians is we're very humble in what we do. And for me, I just want to show that, you know, Asian beauty has a global presence, and there's so much runway in the U.S. for this.
You heard her. Sukoshi is opening on the Upper East Side.
In September, undaunted by a trade war, Sukoshi opened a store in New York. Next year, it has plans to expand to 40 stores. Almost all the new locations will be in the U.S. Even with tariffs, the company says it's been able to keep prices stable.
Strengthening our margins, working with our brand partners, figuring out ways that we can sort of grow the industry and make it a win in all situations.
Sukoshi is already the biggest purveyor of K-beauty in North America. The company wants to be the Canadian equivalent of Sephora, based here, but with a global footprint. Judy Trin, CTV News, Toronto.
Canadians are expected to take full advantage of Black Friday deals this year. A holiday shopping survey by the Retail Council of Canada and Leger finds most people plan to spend $975 this year on the holidays. 84% of respondents say Black Friday is their most important shopping day, and more than half starts researching 1 to 3 weeks in advance. The survey also suggested more shoppers are returning to brick-and-mortar stores for ideas and final buys, even though 80% compare prices online before making a purchase. Retail experts say smartphones are playing an increasingly large part in the process.
We're north of 40% now in terms of holiday sales being done on mobile phones, and it allows you to sort of look quickly and compare different things. So, you know, some retailers like Amazon have special days where certain items are only available on their app. They also have Rufus, which is an AI that can help you shop. So we're seeing more Canadians buy on mobile over the last 5 to 10 years.
86% of respondents said they plan to shop close to home, with 84% hoping to buy Canadian. But the survey said price remains the #1 decision driver ahead of brand loyalty or location.
Meanwhile, Stats Canada says the country logged a drop in retail trade. Back in September, the agency recorded overall sales of $69.8 billion. That marked a decrease of 0.7% compared to August, but it was up more than 3% compared to the year before. The drop was linked mostly to a decline in motor sales and auto parts sales. They were noticeably down in Ontario and slid 2.3% here in Toronto.
The second Wicked movie is looking to cast a spell on the weekend box office. Wicked for Good is the conclusion of the musical tale adapted from the Broadway show. It reimagines the story of the witches in The Wizard of Oz, and it stars Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Jonathan Bailey, Jeff Goldblum, and Michelle Yeoh. Deadline reports previews for the film were the best of any so far in 2025 at $30.8 million US across North America.
Music legend Paul McCartney is set to hit the stage in Hamilton tonight. McCartney will perform at TD Coliseum on the third and final Canadian date of his Got Back tour. The former Beatle brought the show to Canada for the first time this week with 2 shows in Montreal. The tour kicked off in the U.S. in 2022, and McCartney has revived it each of the following 3 years. The last Lakeshore West and East trains will leave later to accommodate riders heading back from Hamilton.
Coming up, channeling the king of rock and roll. We'll have more on a Canadian company helping people bring out their inner Elvis when we come back.
A BC company is taking care of business for those looking to channel their inner Elvis.
They're creating customers for people stepping into the blue suede shoes of the king of rock and roll. CTV's Andrew Johnson has the story.
Inside a modest Nanaimo, BC home, you'll find one of the world's only major suppliers of a certain sort of swagger.
They're beautiful, you know. I never get tired of working on them.
Stitch by stitch, Eleanor von Bedeker and her staff recreate the signature look of one of the past century's brightest stars.
I think it's just Elvis is the full package.
I hope this suit don't tear up, baby.
A big part of the Elvis Presley package is iconic 1970s jumpsuits, complete with cape. Von Bedeker, a costumer by trade, started making them for Elvis tribute artists close to 20 years ago. Now, with 8 employees, she can barely keep up with demand, shipping out 600 jumpsuits a year, each priced between $1,000 and $4,000. And her clients' average age may surprise you.
Teenagers or young adults who are just getting started.
Young performers like Jonathan Hicks, a.k.a. Johnny Elvis, who comes to Eleanor.
It's a little tight across the thighs.
To perfect his look, impersonating the man he has idolized since he was 5.
I try to really study, go on my iPad, or I watch YouTube videos of him in the 70s. It's full time, and I'm very, very blessed to showcase my talent.
Hicks makes a living channeling Elvis full time, which I discovered is harder than it looks.
You do this whole stance, microphone in.
Left hand is mic.
And you can do a shimmy, you know? Faster. Come on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's a labor of love for both Johnny and Eleanor, two of many keeping the legend alive close to 50 years after Presley's death.
For my darling, I love you.
Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Nanaimo, BC.
Not a bad impersonation there. What do you think?
I just want to see more of Andrew Johnson in that costume. That's a fun day on the job.
Yeah, you know it's a fun day on the job for me when the weather cooperates.
Yes.
And today it is for the most part. We have a few showers out there, but otherwise it's not looking too bad. Mix of sun and cloud, varying amounts of cloud. One more look at the satellite and radar. Yeah, these showers are going to move on out. We'll hang on to the possibility of seeing another one through the afternoon. And then partly cloudy skies tonight with a low near -1. Tomorrow's forecast daytime high is 5 degrees. And then we're a little bit milder on Sunday for the original Santa Claus parade. Have a great time, anyone heading out to enjoy. And your 7-day forecast looks like this. Want to point out Tuesday for periods of rain beginning, and then again cool enough for a few flurries again by next Thursday. Nathan and Michelle.
Thank you, Lindsay. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
And for Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here, have a pleasant afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Nathan Downer. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6. Have a great afternoon.